Divine and royal greetings, family. Shayola Binta here, along with Coach Shantae and Coach Latoya. We are a few coaches from the Tech Collective, and we're streaming for the first time live on our Tech Collective Facebook page. So we say welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we'll be talking about our personal detox journey. Stay tuned. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're seeing us live, we say, hey. If you're seeing us as a replay, we say thank you so much for tuning in. And you still have opportunities to join in the conversations. You can put your questions, your thoughts, concerns in the chat box, and we will be more than happy to engage with you. So, our personal detox stories. Who would like to start? Who wants to share it all with our community? Oh, don't be shy now.
We're gonna rock, paper, scissors.
I can I can
Say it again.
start.
Okay,
I can
awesome.
start. Yes, I would say that I really started intentionally doing like detoxes once I went raw vegan. And I decided to do, I believe Coach Shantae mentioned she also did I believe his name is Tahuti. Yeah, that detox, right? And I did mine in pill form. So it was like a lot of drinking of water. And I just recall my first one was in the spring of, not spring, fall of 2015, I believe. Or maybe it was earlier than that. I think it was one that was earlier than that, but sometime that year in 2015. But I noticed I had to take a lot of water because you're taking pills like several times a day. It was a lot. So, and I was already eating raw. Raw food is very dense when you're eating, what you need to eat when I'm full. So I was just like, okay, I can't eat just solid raw foods while doing this. So I decided the next time around to do liquid. So I found that liquid was more better for me because I just felt so full or whatnot. So that was my journey of like intentionally doing like liquid fast. And I just noticed that it was transformative. For me, it wasn't just about the physical aspect because I wasn't trying to lose weight. I already had dropped pounds as a petite, small person. I'm 4'11" and really small. So I lost more weight. It looked more than what, let me, hold on. She's kind of loud. Okay, so the weight looks way more than what I actually lost. So moving forward, I decided to do the liquid fast, but it was transformative to me and more so for the mental and spiritual and emotional aspects. And I was able to get more in tune with my body. Hold on one moment. Soraya, you're a little loud. Okay, thank you. So she kept turning up. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's what I was saying. It was more of a mental and emotional and spiritual thing for me more than anything else, because I feel like a lot of people go in with the physical aspect, but if you don't have that mind piece, if you don't have an intention and a vision for what you want to experience, then it may be a little bit more challenging for you. And that's why I always encourage people to do things gradually. I did not just start off eating raw. I went from releasing the meat, releasing the dairy, and then becoming plant-based fully with vegan, no animal product. Then I did a few years of that. Then I went on to do raw. I did raw for a while, and then I started doing liquid fast. That's how I started my journey. So it was very gradual. I did it when I wanted to do it. I saw the differences in it, but I started doing Queen of Fua's detoxes also during that time period too, where her formulas work really well also. But it more than anything, it's about the lifestyle change and it's about the mindset more than anything else. But I did started to notice. I actually did hers first. I think I did hers first actually, or was it his? No, it was his first. I think I got them both mixed up because I did both in the same year. But what I did notice that when I first started eating raw, because raw is a detox in a way for many people, is that I noticed that I was having I started noticing darkness underneath my eyes, but my face was becoming clearer. So I knew that my liver was releasing, was detoxing and things of that nature. So that was the biggest thing that I noticed, was that I started to slowly release weight, and then that I wasn't trying to release. And then my face was getting clearer, and I started seeing my skin, the impacts of my skin, and I started noticing my lymph nodes were a little swollen, like underneath my arms. But that was the biggest thing. I didn't have like a crisis, like major crisis or anything like that. So, but I did really enjoy doing it. So I continued to do it, liquid fast quarterly at the change of the seasons, all the way up until I got pregnant. And I got pregnant January 2018. So I stopped. So that was like a good almost 3 years of doing liquid fast quarterly. And I was already eating raw, and that's like a detox for many, but I was eating it, so it was different. But I just noticed that my palate was changing. I was more interested in eating foods that I didn't like. So it was opening me up to a wide range of tastes, and I was becoming more creative in the kitchen. I was having more downloads. I was getting more into my feelings and my emotions. Things were coming up for me. I was journaling a lot. So I was really striving to make it a more holistic thing. And I feel like that's the reason why I've been able to do it for so long. And I started back up finally doing it at the end of 2021. And by then I had stopped breastfeeding. I felt more comfortable with doing it at that point. So I started back up again, and the difference between now and then is that my body has balanced out. I had gained the weight back that I had lost from eating raw initially, and I feel like I just became more knowledgeable of what works for my body through pregnancy and all of that. So I feel like it balanced everything out. So I still do fast, but I do them when I not as frequently, but when I do them, it is intense for me, So that's pretty much the gist of it. I have a whole journey, but through that, I was inspired to, during the global reset, to host challenges. I hosted 5-day raw vegan challenges for people, and they really, saw the benefit of it. People have showcased how they were able to release weight, or they were able to be more creative in the kitchen, or they were able to connect more with themselves spiritually, because it was more so about the mind, body, and spirit versus just the physical. So that's pretty much it.
Very, very, very interesting. So let me ask you, when you did you feel like it took time for your body to adjust when you started over again? Now, I know you spoke to the fact that your body felt better, or it was an easier adjustment, but was it a short period of time for that adjustment, or did it take long for your body to adjust?
You mean for this when I stopped after pregnancy, or you
Yeah.
talking?
Hmm.
And I came back on.
And you came
No,
back.
yeah, it was actually, I feel like I did it in a very gradual way,
Mm,
because I did 7 days. I did 7 days of liquid, and then later on, maybe a month or so two later, I did whole 21 days, and then so it was
mm,
still like a gradual thing or whatnot. And then I did another 21 days later on that year after, and that was my first time doing it after I think maybe a few years of not doing it at all.
mm.
So it was
Okay.
very gradual. And then the following year I did that's the year in the last year I did the 3 days water. That was a whew. but I feel like when you do it like that, you can go a little longer without
Yeah.
doing as
Yeah.
much. Plus I eat raw, so it's just like, yeah, that was intense. But I know how my body works now, so it's just completely different.
That's great, knowing how your body works. That's
Mhm.
definitely a gem. Definitely a gem. Thank you so much for sharing. Coach Shante, did you want to share your journey or parts of it?
Absolutely. I shared a little bit previously, and like Coach Latoya said, I did use the Tahuti Ma'at herbs detox. That was the first detox that I like researched and really was interested in. Um, I hadn't done anything up to that point. So the first detox that I did was summer of 2017. During that time, I wasn't thinking about everything in the mind, body, spirit realm. I was detoxing my physical. Around that time, I also started my Dr. Sebi nutritional guide dietary journey. And around the time that I was doing my Tahuti Ma'at detox, I was transitioning to the Dr. Sebi diet plan. And between just the detox, trying to stick to the detox with this really staunch stance and just really like militant, that's the word I'm looking for, this really militant stance on what I needed to do, what I needed to eat, what needed to be available. There were times that if I didn't have access to the things that were on Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide, I wasn't eating. So I was doing the detox, I was taking all of the pills, I was doing, all of those things, but there would be times where I wasn't taking in any food at all. So it would be like detoxing and fasting all in one fell swoop, which is not something that I would recommend other people do, especially when you're not doing it intentionally. Because if you're not doing it intentionally and you're not paying attention to your body, there are a lot of things that you're not going to pay attention to. You're going to miss a lot of important pieces, and learn how to um, adjust accordingly when you need to. So you're going to miss those things. And that was essentially one of the things that happened to me with my first detox with Tahuti Ma'at herbs, was that I had no idea exactly how things were impacting me. Um, it was an okay experience, but because I didn't have, I wasn't like tracking anything, I was just kind of just militant, like I need to take these pills at this time, I need to do this at this time. I didn't really notice a lot of other changes. Fast forward to 2020, when I did my Emerald Green Holistic Practitioner training that summer, I did the Queen of Fua detox. And when I did the Queen of Fua detox, that one was a group detox. So I was journeying with other people, and there was an emphasis on the mind, body, spirit connection and how those things work together, and not just utilizing the system, but also tuning into the self, tuning into the spirit. And excuse me, I don't, can we just say every time I get on live, my nose is just like, let me throw a little itch at you real quick, and I can never get rid of the itch every single time. So please excuse me and my nose, or whatever it is we have going on. We gonna soldier on. But anyhow, through the process of my Queen of Fua detox, um, I had that opportunity to get a better understanding of when we are detoxing, there's not just that physical component. Everything that we take into our mouth is a reflection of our mental and spiritual state. And I realized that that was extremely true for me. I am an emotional eater, and it is sometimes challenging for me to stick to a plan when it comes to my food. So, the Queen of Food Detox, sticking to that plan, um, listening to my mind and body, and getting that mind body spirit connection, taking the time to really love on myself, all of those things combine to really help transform my relationship with food. I do still have like my crunchy, salty thing with potato chips. Like I love potato chips, but I don't binge eat like I was before. It really helped me to reset and understand why I was having the experiences that I was having with my food, and how to navigate what I was really feeling. My 2020 detox also helped me to release a lot of things from, previous years. 2018 in particular was an extremely traumatic year for me. And I had taken on stress and trauma in every part of my body, every part of my mind, and every part of my spirit. And working through those traumas through gardening was an amazing experience. It helped me to get to the space where I would even consider doing a class like the Emerald Green Holistic Practitioner Training. And I went through that training as one person and came out of that training and out of my detox as a more evolved version of myself. And it set the stage for me to continue to evolve. It was like an opportunity to address foundational issues that I was dealing with and help me to navigate healing those things so I could move to the next layer and heal those things. So for me, detoxing is transformational. It is elevational. It is evolutionary. It is an opportunity to really tune in to the self. And the way that Queen Afua structures her detox is detoxing through the seasons. So you're not just doing a 21-day detox. There is a lifestyle shift, an underlying lifestyle shift that happens that really sets the stage for you to create a detox lifestyle, like what Coach Latoya was saying with the raw food diet. There's not any way that you can eat raw and stay the same. There's a lot that goes into that raw lifestyle. When you're intentional about your food on the whole foods plant-based vegan diet, it's a similar experience because you have to take the time to plan your fresh produce. You can't just go buy that in bulk and expect it to stay, in the same condition it was when you bought it all month. You're gonna have fruit flies everywhere. So there are levels of intention that are developed through the first 21-day detox that you do. You'll notice habits and things and you'll start to shift. That was my experience. And then once you start making those habits or start making those changes and they become habits, it becomes easier to go into your next detox cycle and say, okay, what's my intent for this detox cycle? Okay, we've worked through that. What's my intent for this next detox cycle? And then it just becomes a cycle of cleansing, healing, releasing, and evolving and growing. And that's one of my favorite things about this space that I'm in now as it relates to detoxing. And I'm sure if I did attempt the Tahuti Ma'at herbs detox at this time in this space, it would be a lot more successful because I would be noticing and paying attention to what my body is actually doing and not just going through the motions and following the system only. So definitely a shameless plug here. Join us for our 21-day detox. It is coming up next month. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to with our detox is that we are not doing a detox where you have to buy a bunch of products and all of those types of things in order to participate. Your participation is your purchasing your seat, purchasing your ticket to get into the room, and it is your groceries. What are you going to be feeding your temple during this time to help support a mind, body, spirit reset? And that's what makes our detox really unique. So it is open enrollment season for the Tech Collective Spring Detox, and we are so excited to not only share our journeys with you, but for you to share your journey with us. And with that, I will yield the mic to Coach Shayola to tell us about your journey and if either of you have any insights or things you would like for me to answer.
Give thanks, give thanks. And that was really great just to hear, the literally the journey. And, I hope that those that are watching this gains an understanding that every journey literally is going to be different. And the more you pay attention to your own body, right, the better off you would be. So thank you so much for that share, Coach Shantae. So my journey started in 2008 when I was introduced to, I call him Flo the Juice Man, but I wasn't ready. And I remember him saying, you're going to really have to change your diet. Now, I hadn't been doing like turkey. No, I hadn't been doing pork and red meat, but I was still eating turkey, chicken, and seafood. And I remember him for 2 years, he was saying, you're going to need to change your diet. And he had his own um, detox plan, which was very, very comprehensive. Long story short, I ended up doing in 2010, it was this doctor's book. And honestly, I don't even remember the name of the book, but I read this book and I was so intrigued. I didn't do like a system, so to speak. I was looking for the physical aspect of cleansing. I didn't want to do the doctors and all those things. And I remember by the end of that detox, I had just turned 30. And I remember feeling like a different person, which I wasn't really, I didn't even know what the result of detoxing would be other than really trying to lose some weight. Because at my highest, I was like 182 pounds and I'm only 5'2". So it was definitely not a great situation. But I had gone to get a manicure, and I remember telling the manicurist, something feels different. I don't know if this is how you feel when you turn 30, but it's like I can see with a different pair of eyes. And he looked up and he said to me, it sounds like you're going through your awakening. And I said, my awakening? Like, what's that? Like, I had never even heard that term before. So we have this whole conversation about what the awakening is. So that really propelled me to continue on the journey, finally having to give up that lifestyle change, the other meats, right? Because I didn't know that turkey was the other white meat and stays in your system just as long as pork. And I was okay with eating it until I realized you got to get rid of this stuff. So in the interim, over the years, I tried different detoxes to include flows, and it was great. Then I did a detox where it had like wormwood, and it was really to clean out parasites. And this may be TMI, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's a part of my journey. I remember passing stool, and I'm that person, that type of person that looks every time I pass just to see texture, color, and all the things. Y'all, I saw eyes looking back at me. And even through the detoxing that I had already done, my system still had more. And removing red meat and pork at 15 years old, there was still stuff that needed to be removed and cleansed out of my system. So from 2000 to 2017, it was different variations of detoxes. And by the time I reached Queen Afua and her detox system, that's when it was more of an awakening and an enlightenment, because the mind and spirit aspect came in. And within that journey with Queen Afua, I also went through a journey with Dr. Pukram and with Queen Esther. So Dr. Pukram had the mind aspect where we actually did brain work, and Queen Esther had the celestial beauty community, which was the spirit work. And then Queen had the actual detox and the products, which was the body work. So 2017 was extremely transformative. I mean, I shed so much to include people and places that I never really thought that I would shed. But these detoxes allowed me at different phases and ages of my life to shed what I no longer needed. And then, of course, going through those three um, areas, if you will, it just led me on a journey to which I knew, okay, well, there's absolutely, because you can't unsee what you saw. You can't, I'm not going to say you can't unlearn what you learned, but it's just like now you have this knowing, you have to continue. So, there was no looking back for me. And I could just remember like friends and family, like, always making fun of like my diet. And my friends would say, I don't like coming over to your house no more because you don't have no snacks, and you don't have the things that you used to have. And I knew, well, I can't have these things around me because they clearly are what led me to having to detox in the first place. I had kidney stones 3 times and had to have them surgically removed. I had fibroid. It was just so much medical stuff going on. But again, through 2010 and 2017, it really wasn't that correlation of the spiritual aspects of what my body was going through. So it was pretty amazing to witness myself outside of myself. I will always be a proponent for detoxing because clearly I know what it has done for my life, and it has led me to hold space for community. That's how Veg Camp started, helping others to detox, and we didn't have products. And for me, it was like that aha moment in that really you have to focus on what it is that you are consuming, whether it's what you're eating, what you're watching on television, what you're listening to, on the radio and things to that nature. But like within 3 days, people were report, oh my gosh, I feel this. I can walk, upstairs. I can do all the things. So, you know, I'm sold. There's no turning back for me as it relates to just a healthy lifestyle. And I'll say a plant-based lifestyle because, to each their own. But regardless of what your lifestyle is, detoxing is necessary, especially if you live in an urban area, buses and trains and trucks and all the things, because we take all of that stuff in, even through the skin, which is the largest living organism. So, I'm definitely I'm just so happy to have had these experiences, even the not so great ones, being hospitalized countless times, really because of what I was doing to myself. I couldn't even say, oh, those doctors kept me coming back. It's just like, no, that food keeps having you come back. You keep eating what your body is clearly telling you, no, thank you. So I love detoxing. I love having more insight as to how to um, manage and have learned my body. Instantly when something is not right, and then intuitively, okay, what can I take, to balance this out? So I'm definitely grateful, and grateful to have an opportunity to work with you all, beautiful people, and to now be able to help larger communities to learn themselves and their bodies and, get their stuff going. So thank you for allowing me to share. So we hope that y'all learned something. Feel free to thank you to all who are joining us live. Feel free to put your comments or drop your name and where you're chiming in from in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And just to veggie back on what Coach Shantae was saying, we are live and direct for our spring detox, which starts in March. There is time to register. The price will go up on March 1st. So you want to get that early bird special if you're in a space to do so. And we are here for full life support. Like, we are here to help you help yourself get on a upward trajectory, or even different one from where you are right now. Now, someone asked, well, what kind of detox is this? And the best way that I could think of replying was a one up. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, you want to one up it. You want to go a step above. So if you classify yourself as vegan, then you want to strive to be raw for 21 days, or you want to strive for 50% raw, 50% juice. So if you are a meat eater, we're not going to do no meat, to include fish if we can handle it, and so on and so up the line. So, anything else that any of you would like to add to close us out?
I just wanted to mention something that Coach Shante stated with about looking at the Dr. Sabi's list or whatnot. And I find that that's all a challenge. People just in general, regardless of who it is, sometimes you get so fixated on the list or whatever that you feel like, oh, if I don't have this, or if I don't do it this way, it's like a reminder that things are a guide, and it's just not the say all be all. Because that's one thing and I find that that's where a lot of challenges people have, even when they transition to raw, they looking at lists and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't do that. I think that's probably the reason why. That's probably why, because I did things based upon like what was best for me,
Right.
and not based upon like being a stickler for certain things. And that's where, and there's so many levels to it, and just being mindful of not, because some people may battle eating disorder. That's a real thing. I feel like that has to be talked about too, so it's just being mindful of that, and that those triggers that come with that, of like, okay, I eat this or eat that. So there's just so many things. So I thank you for bringing that, because I thought that was a good insight of like, use things as guides, and your journey is your journey, Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
great. Yeah.
And I appreciate that call out, Coach Latoya, because that we talk about, and this is my last point, we talk about making changes for our health. But when we get so fixated on being militant about the how we're doing it, we kind of put the why on a back seat. And the why needs to always remain front and center. The how, we respect the how. The how is the journey. The journey is going to shift and evolve. You may find that you can't eat bell peppers 3 times a day. It just frustrates your nerves to eat that many bell peppers. You need to switch it up. Like, there may be other things that you notice that you can or cannot do, things that may or may not irritate you physically or spiritually from a food list. So give yourself that grace to be able to say, this is the game plan. Like Coach Latoya has said, I believe, how to cultivate. No, it was in the interview that you did with Coach Lorraine, and you were talking about how some people, when they go raw, they feel like they're not getting enough fiber or getting enough protein, and so they eat beans. If you need to eat cooked beans on your raw vegan journey, then you do what is necessary for you to feel like you're getting everything that you need, because the why is the most important part. We're not here talking about starvation diets. We're not here talking about forcing the body to do anything. We are here to create synergy with the body so that we are able to reach our health and wellness goals and sustain those goals, because those militant stances rarely ever last. You'll see some results. I lost a lot of weight, but it was an unhealthy weight loss. I have gained a lot of weight back, and I am now in a healthy range for me in an area that I feel comfortable. Coach Latoya mentioned that, Coach Shayola had mentioned that she had gotten up to around 180 at 5'2". I had gotten up to about 165 at 5 feet flat. And in the South, it's like, oh, girl, you thick. But inside, it's like, child, this ain't it. But when I made healthier choices instead of those militant choices, my weight balanced itself back out, and I feel good in my body now in a way that I didn't feel good in my body back in 2017, 2018. So all that to say, join us on this journey. You've got a vast array of experiences. You see myself, Coach Latoya, Coach Shayola. We've also got several other coaches that are in our cohort who have various levels of experience and insights that they can share with you. And when you join the detox, you get the opportunity to talk with each of us and get to know each of us even more. And if you are ready to schedule your coaching consultation prior to the detox, because it does come with a coaching consultation, 15-minute, is it 15-minute or 10-minute?
10-minute.
10-minute tune up with the pendulum. That's an energy reading. And you get our Tag Collective detox guide, our veg camp guide that was written by our very own Shayla Benta, that outlines the process of body, mind, spirit rejuvenation that you will experience without products, that will help you to one up your life, to 10x your goals, to do whatever it is that you are striving to do with this detox experience. So go to our website, theemeraldgreencollective.com. That's www.theemeraldgreencollective.com. Click on Spring Detox. Go ahead and get registered. The price is $49.99, and that will be going up March 1st. So you definitely want to get in, lock in your space, tell a friend. If you want to purchase a detox for a friend, make your purchase. Make sure you send us an email with your order information and who that detox is for, so we know who we're working with. But do not let this opportunity pass you by to really get to some healing, start the process of restructuring your foundation or continuing on a foundation that you've already built. Thank you all for tuning in with us. I'm going to kick it back to Coach Shayla for our outro, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Until next week, y'all. Peace, love, and wholeness.
Peace.